There's a saying in Mexico that's like, sin maíz no hay país, like without maíz there's no country. And that's like really the backbone of Mexican cuisine.
Maiz, corn, a humble food, and yet in skilled hands, something so simple can become magical.
Like it's such a beautiful thing, like a freshly cooked, nixtamalized ground tortilla, the way that the corn just sings. I wanted to do that for me, but I also wanted people here to understand and know that that exists, that tortillas can be this beautiful and this tasty and delicious, yeah.
Located on a quiet street in Ravenna, Pancita is ostensibly a Mexican restaurant, though one that chef and co-owner Janet Becerra imbues with her own culinary voice.
We specialize in the art of nixtamalization. So it's an indigenous technique that is used by the native people of Mexico to turn maiz into, which is corn, into basically usable masa products, like tortillas, memelas, things like that.
Janet grew up in Kent and spent a decade cooking in top kitchens around Seattle, along with a stop at Michelin-starred Pujol in Mexico City. When the pandemic hit, her partner, who's also a chef, encouraged her to explore Mexican cooking and the process of nixtamalization.
I bought a molino from Hacienda and started grinding at home. And so I took that time to really like hone in, like understand maize and like mess it up a lot. But I had that time to mess it up and, you know, figure it out.
Pancita began as a pop-up, one which quickly developed a following around the city. Then Janet was introduced to Sarah Penn, the owner of Pear, who offered to give Janet and Pancita a residency in her restaurant.
The 6 months flew by and people really loved us, and we extended it to another year. And then during that year, Sarah got sick and she's no longer with us, but we kept the restaurant open. Yeah, and we're here now. We were only partners for like a year, and she impacted my life so largely in such a small amount of time. Yes, you know, this was my vision, but she gave me like a stage to do that.
Now Pancita is both a neighborhood favorite and nationally acclaimed. Janet was a 2023 James Beard Award finalist for Emerging Chef.
And then we're frying our tostadas also daily for the tuna set.
She continues to change the menu regularly, but some dishes have become house favorites, like the tuna tostada, an homage to a beloved dish at the acclaimed Mexico City restaurant Contramar.
Okay, so we're using local albacore tuna. We do add a little bit of Maggie's to kind of reinforce the umami. This part's like my favorite part. There is one item that we do not make in-house is the Kewpie, like the actual Kewpie itself, but we reinforce it ourselves. We add morita to it, and also a little bit of salsa macha. And then we're just gonna lay the tuna just like so, about like 3 pieces. Beautiful. Kiss it with a little bit of burnt habanero oil. Ooh. And then we're just gonna finish it with some avocado slices, just like so.
Beautiful.
And then the last thing we do is we add our fried leeks.
Well, that's about as perfect as a bite can get. That is such a cool dish. The thing I love is that all the different textures work together so well. I think you could put anything with the tostada and the mayo, and I'd probably just enjoy it.
I think you're right. We'll do some more, you know, recipe development there.
Yes, sometimes the simplest things are the most beautiful, and there is equal beauty in finding one's voice and having a place to express it.
You know, food is art. For me to even just like have a space that I can create and be able to like explore within, you know, the parameters of the Mexican kitchen and get to share that with people. Yeah, it's been a dream come true for sure.
For Seattle Refined, I'm Brandon Bernstead.